If you want one high-value quotation from Romeo and Juliet that can elevate almost any essay question into a discussion on Shakespeare's wider purpose, I'd choose the prologue's declaration that the lovers doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The quotation reveals that Romeo and Juliet's deaths are not simply personal tragedy. Shakespeare frames their deaths as a sacrifice capable of healing an entire divided society. As top students, this is exactly what you should be aiming to do in your essays. Move beyond explaining what happens and begin exploring why Shakespeare constructs the tragedy in this way. The verb bury is central here. Literally, it foreshadows the deaths and funeral image that dominates the play. However, Shakespeare also personifies the strife between the families as something capable of being buried alongside the lovers. The feud itself becomes almost diseased and self-perpetuating, infecting Verona until the deaths of Romeo and Juliet finally force their reconciliation. This transforms the lovers into sacrificial figures. Their deaths achieve what political authority, patriarchal control, and violence cannot: peace. Shakespeare intensifies this sacrificial imagery throughout the play. Juliet is repeatedly associated with innocence and purity through the image of the lamb, evoking Christian symbolism of sacrificial suffering. The lovers, therefore, perform as symbolic victims of a corrupted society consumed by inherited hatred and conflict. Even Juliet's final line, "O happy dagger," arguably sustains this pattern. The paradoxical adjective happy suggests death becomes transformative rather than simply destructive. Furthermore, for a Christian audience, the visual image of a dagger can subtly evoke the shape of the cross, reinforcing Shakespeare's recurring pattern of sacrifice leading to communal renewal. Importantly, Shakespeare doesn't present fate as the sole cause of tragedy. Instead, fate exposes the deeper failures already embedded within Verona. Inherited hatred, pressures upon men to uphold honour codes, and patriarchal control where a society is so divided that violence becomes cyclical and unavoidable. This is where your essays become genuinely perceptive. Don't stop at the plot level. Ask yourself what Shakespeare is warning his audience about. For the Shakespearean audience, this message would have felt especially significant. England itself had experienced profound religious and political division in the aftermath of the Protestant Reformation, with generations being shaped by persecution, instability, and suspicion across the Catholic-Protestant divide. Verona, therefore, operates not merely as an Italian setting, but as a mirror that Shakespeare holds up to his own society. Ultimately, Shakespeare suggests that when societies become governed by inherited hatred, tribal loyalties, and cycles of vengeance, innocence is what is sacrificed. Romeo and Juliet's deaths therefore function not simply as tragic entertainment, but as a moral warning about the devastating human cost of societal division. This is precisely why this quotation is so useful for almost any essay question. Whether the focus is love, conflict, fate, family, violence, masculinity, Shakespeare's larger message remains strikingly consistent. A divided society ultimately destroys its own children.